All right, so we're finally at the third and final part of lesson 2.7 with absolute value function. So take a look at the problem of the day, correct the errors in both of them. Okay, so we're in the final last part of lesson 2.7, absolute value functions. Sort of a little long here, but talking about a couple different things. What we're going to take a look at today is absolute value function inequalities. So first things first, problem of the day, take a look and describe and correct the error in both graphs. So where we left off last time is our example here, example 5, A and B. And actually, it's only one side, we're doing two problems. We're going to graph the following. So we're building upon it. Now, not only are we going to graph the absolute value graphs, we actually have to test a point to see where we shade, just like before. So first things first, let's go back to saying what our vertex is. Vertex should be -2, -1. My slope, or my A, should be -1. That's the number up front. It's understood as -1. So let's start by graphing. You know, with an absolute value graph, we're looking at an inequality now. The inequality first, my graph should be solid or dashed, right? If I look here, it's or equal to, so it should be a solid line. So let's graph our point -2, -1, which is here. Slope's -1/1, down one, right one, down one, right one. And like I said, it's or equal to, so it's solid. So just like before, we'll connect the points as straight as I can. And I go back to the original point, down one, left one, do the mirror image, down one, left one, and connect them. Now what I like to do is when I draw my graph, I'm sorry that it's crooked. Once again, I'm not very good with my mouse here. I would like to extend them as far down of the whole coordinate grid here. Now, what did we do before? We tested a point, 0, 0, as long as it's not on the graph, and I could do that. What's different about this one is if, instead of saying half planes left or right or top or bottom, it's going to be outside the V or inside the V graph. So we have to test a point. So I'll do it over here. And we'll test, I'm allowed to do 0, 0. Let's see, I don't like how that came up. Give me 1 second here. Let's fix that. All right, now before, like I said, you're going to shade either outside or inside. So we're going to test our point. Let's get this set up here, see if I could get it this time. So test 0, 0. All right. Plug it in to the inequality. Be careful when you evaluate an absolute value, okay? You have to remember your rules for it. That's probably the most difficult thing about this here. Not that it's really difficult, but be mindful of it. Do not get rid of anything with absolute value. Like, do not change signs or anything. Get it down to a single number. Treat it like a parenthesis before you evaluate it. And now, remember, the negative's outside. So, that's -2 minus 1, 0, less than -3. Is 0 less than or equal to -3? We know that's false. So if it was true, I would shade outside. And it's very important to draw your absolute value graph to cover the whole grid. So it would be outside, but it's false, so I shade inside. Let's fix that. Getting a little too crazy with my shading here. So it's all the inside here. All right. So let's try the other one. Once again, my vertex should be 0, -4. A is 1/2. That might be hard to see. Oh, you can see it better there. Okay. That's weird when I start to type. So let's plot our points. So 0, -1, 2, 3, 4 is here. 1/2 is up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Now it's greater than, so it's a dashed line here. Go all the way over. Do the opposite, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. Same thing. So plot 0, 0 this time. If 0, 0 is true, we shade this whole inner part. If it's false, we shade the outer part. So let's see our check. I'll do it over here, test. And we see we could test 0, 0 because it's not on the graph. So 0 greater than 1/2 times the absolute value of 0 minus 4. Absolute value of 0 is just 0, right? So that's an easy one. Absolute 1/2 times 0 is 0. Minus 4. 0 greater than -4. And we know that to be true. So I shade where 0, 0 is. So remember how before when we did inequalities, I told you, please plot the point and test a point to see where to shade. There's shortcuts to it that work most of the time, but here's where it's not, the shortcut's not going to help you with an absolute value graph. You're not going to know where to shade inside or outside. You actually have to test a point. So make sure you do that. And that's it. It's final part to lesson 2.7. Final part of the chapter, actually. So homework, problem of the day, and graph those 3 inequalities. And we're good to go.